Thanks for joining us on another demonstration of Simple Manufacturing's features and functionality. In this video, we will discuss contract review in manufacturing. Let's begin by providing a definition of contract review. Contract review is the process of evaluating a purchase order or contract from a customer before accepting it, to ensure that the company can meet the requirements. This is a critical part of quality management systems, like ISO 9001 and AS 9100, and helps prevent misunderstandings, production issues, and legal liabilities. There are several purposes of contract review. First, ensure capability. Confirm the company has the technical ability, materials, equipment, and capacity to fulfill the order. Second, verify requirements. Make sure all customer requirements are clear, agreed upon, and documented. Third, risk management. Identify potential risks or costs that might arise from accepting the contract. And lastly, compliance. Ensure the contract complies with laws, standards, and internal policies. Contract reviews occur before signing a customer contract or before accepting a purchase order, PO, or when there are changes to an existing order or contract. There are two outcomes for the contract review process. If acceptable, proceed to planning, procurement, and production. If issues found, negotiate terms or reject the contract. There are several key elements of the contract review. First, review of product specifications, materials, dimensions, tolerances. Review of delivery schedules and deadlines. Review of quantity and pricing. Review of payment terms. Review of quality standards or certifications required. Review of customer-supplied materials or documentation. Review of warranty or liability clauses. The review of shipping and packaging requirements. And lastly, review of change or cancellation terms. For an effective contract review process, there are some strategies to consider. First, standardize the review process. Develop a documented procedure for contract review. Use a checklist or template to ensure consistency across departments, for example, sales, engineering, procurement, or legal. Align with quality management systems like ISO 9001 or AS 9100 if applicable. Second, incorporate cross-functional involvement. Involve relevant departments in the review, like sales, which might focus the review on customer expectations and communication. Engineering or research and development, which focuses on feasibility and technical requirements. Production, which focuses on capacity and capability. Procurement, which looks at material availability and cost. Finance, which looks at cash flow, profitability, payment terms, and pricing. Legal or compliance, which looks at risks, liabilities, and regulatory issues. Third, verify technical and quality requirements. Ensure drawings, specifications, tolerances, certifications, and test methods are clearly defined and understood. Match requirements with internal capabilities and confirm if third-party testing or certification is needed. Fourth, validate capacity and lead times. Confirm shop floor availability and machine capacity. Check supply chain timelines for critical materials. Evaluate if delivery timelines are realistic, especially during peak periods. Fifth, review commercial terms carefully. Validate pricing against quotes or contracts. Confirm payment terms, net 30, net 60, etc. Review clauses for penalties, rebates, or incentives. Sixth, assess risks and liabilities. Check for liability clauses, IP concerns, warranty conditions, or penalties for late delivery. Conduct risk assessments for complex or high-value contracts. Involve legal counsel when needed. Seventh, clarify ambiguities with customers. Reach out to the customer to resolve unclear or conflicting requirements before accepting the contract. Document all clarifications and amendments. And lastly, document everything. Maintain a record of original contract or purchase order, review checklist or notes, approvals and sign-offs, communication with the customer. Now let's demonstrate the contract review process that is included in Simple Manufacturing. First, a few setup steps for contract review. In Simple Manufacturing, our approach is accountability. And to that extent, Each employee who is responsible for a functional group review of a contract or customer purchase order is identified. The employee is selected, and the functional group they are responsible for is identified. For this demonstration, we have 4 basic functional groups: sales, quality assurance, engineering, and supply chain. Updating the contract review responsibilities is as simple as removing, changing, or adding employees over time. The last setup step is to identify the contract review flow. If each functional group is notified at the same time that a new contract review is awaiting their review, this option is called batch review or batch flow. If a functional group is notified only after the predecessor functional group has completed its review, then that option is the linear review or linear flow approach. The most popular approach is the batch flow. So for this demonstration, it is set to batch flow. When using an ERP software built around a manufacturing-first concept and aligned with ISO 9001 or AS 9100, it will include a contract review process. In Simple Manufacturing, once the order has been entered, its status remains as pending until the contract review process is completed and accepted, when its status automatically changes to approved, at which time the order fulfillment processes are enabled. In the unfortunate case when a contract review is rejected, the order status is automatically changed to canceled. A single click to create the contract review is all it takes to begin the contract review process. This single click prepares an email to all contract review responsible parties, informing them of a new contract review. The email is displayed so the initiator has the opportunity to add to or revise the email prior to sending. Closing out the sales order will take the user back to the main menu. Then clicking on the contract review module opens a window that displays all open contract reviews. A simple double click of the contract review opens it for review. A powerful and effective feature that helps close outstanding items or actions is the to-do list feature in Simple Manufacturing. The to-do list is defaulted to the logged-in user and is refreshed in real time. After the contract review is initiated, it will appear in the to-do list of all users who have contract review responsibility and will display until the review is completed by the functional group they represent. In this example, user Fulton Mendez has contract review responsibility for the functional group engineering. As shown here, when the bucket is selected, all of the individual contract reviews awaiting review are shown. Double-clicking on any of them opens the contract review for a quick and easy method to get to the record of interest with minimal clicks. The intent with each contract review is to include all of the information necessary in order for the reviewers to have what they need for an accurate assessment and review of the contract or purchase order. As shown here, all order detail line items and their content are shown, including any line item-specific quality clause, specifications, or standards. Additionally, the delivery dates are included, and the set of notes that are in the sales order is accessible as well. In addition, any files linked to the order are included in the Document tab of the contract review, with only a double click to view each one. The other intent of the contract review process is to have a set of tabs used by each functional group. In this example, we have the 4 basic functional group tabs. As we scroll through the various functional group tabs, each functional group has unique responsibilities for reviewing the contract or purchase order, and therefore a unique set of items, checkboxes, and data entry field that help maintain a consistent review and assessment. The content of each tab can be customized to match your company's functional group needs, processes, flows, etc. We help our customers define and incorporate this content into this form. As mentioned prior, there's also a Documents tab that can be used to link any form of electronic file: Excel, Word, PDF files, and even CAD files. The files can be emails, drawings, checklists, specifications, etc., anything that may help or document an accurate review and assessment of each contract review. Just double-click any of the files to open them in their native file format. These files remain linked to the contract review even after it is completed. Another feature of contract review is the ability to add an action item, add an action owner, and set a due date. Actions can be used in several ways. First, they can be used to send questions or tasks to other parties outside the functional group's expertise to facilitate the review process, or they can be used to schedule tasks that need to be completed even after the contract review has been closed. The actions are typically initiated from a specific functional group, but can also be added from the Actions tab. These open action items also display in the to-do list. If the user is the creator of the action, they will appear as open actions created, and if the user is the action owner, they display as your open actions. In each case, the user selects the bucket item, then double-clicks the contract review of interest to open, and then clicks the Actions tab to see their specific action. Once an action has been created, a single click prepares an email task item that is sent to the action owner. An example of such a task is displayed here. Once actions are completed, a simple process of clicking the Complete button records the action as complete, capturing completed by and the completion date. To complete a functional group review, select the tab, and in this example, the Sales tab, fill out the items, and when no issues are found, click the Approve button to complete the review for that functional group. The sales order acceptance log records the completion date of each functional group. This is beneficial for providing metrics of how much time contract reviews take to complete and the average completion times per functional group. Once complete, that contract review drops off the to-do list for all users with the functional group of sales responsibility. The rest of the functional groups follow the same process. When the last functional group finishes its review, the contract review status is changed to approved. In addition, an email is prepared showing that the contract review has been fully approved and requires the final acceptance and release step to be completed. Furthermore, the to-do list is updated to show contract reviews needing the final acceptance and release. The last step in the process is final acceptance. This step is to review all functional groups information, as well as comments, before the release step. Once each tab has been reviewed, the release button is clicked, at which time the contract review status is changed to released. The log shows the released step, including the user completing the release and the date of release. The to-do list is also updated. Notice the open actions of contract reviews remain displayed on the user's dashboard and will stay until the action is recorded as completed. In addition, the sales order status is automatically changed to approved at time of release. After closing out the sales order and returning to the contract review module, use the filter functions to search for contract reviews. Search by customer, part number, purchase order number, status, etc., and any combination thereof. To view any contract review, double-click to open. I am hopeful this video provided some insight into the contract review process included within SimpleManufacturing software. Note that this process is 100% customizable to match your business needs and requirements. And because this software is sold as open source, you have full access to make that happen. Of course, we are here to provide whatever level of support you need. So, for a video recap, I hope that you come out of this with an understanding of the contract review process of reviewing a customer's contract or purchase order, that we have a cross-functional approach, and that it incorporates an electronic review and approval process, that we created a practical and efficient approach using automated processing of email and an effective to-do list to drive closure, and minimal clicks to get information of interest. If interested in establishing a contract review process in your business, here are a few items to think about and discuss internally. Determine the functional groups that make sense for your business. Consider having a different set of contract review channels, perhaps by order type. First-time build probably requires many supporting departments. Repeat orders may not need engineering. A new revision of a part number may only need another subset of functional groups. And finally, if the product was last manufactured over 2 years ago, perhaps another subset. What data entry fields, checklists, etc. are necessary for each functional group? Some advice. Begin with a simple approach, then add bells and whistles as the process matures. Thanks for watching. Have any questions or want to see this in action or a live demonstration? Give me a call. Hope to hear from you. Until next time, cheers.